In this screencast, I will show you how to connect your Angular application to your backend that runs on Spring Boot. So far, we have created a small application which has the REST endpoint of logins, and we have a running instance of uh, Angular application that's built by the Angular CLI. So the next thing is to do is to run and connect these two applications so they can exchange data between them. As you might have seen, the Angular application earlier, it was running on port 4200. Once we once we type ng serve, it will start upon port 4200, and your Spring Boot application, it's running on port 8080. So those two applications are running on two different ports. So we need to somehow to merge these into one scenario, so they are not acting as like two different applications, but they are working as a single application. So to do this, we need some kind of proxy. So Angular CLI has this nice configuration that allows you to proxy between these two connections. So what you have to do is in your Angular application, you have to create a new project, a new file called proxy.conf.json. So this JSON file will contain the configuration that will help to connect to the or the proxy the backend with the front end. All you have to create this file and have this JSON file containing this lines of code. So what these lines of code means that we will be proxying the localhost port 8080. I have defined the type as HTTP, and the IP address is localhost 8080. I have been proxying this location with the trailing endpoint of API. That means every request that will be going on HTTP localhost 8080/API would be proxied back to HTTP :localhost:4200/API. So whatever the request that we are making from port 8080 will be proxied back to localhost 4200 API endpoint. You will see this in action. Once you have created this proxy.conf.json file, you have to tell that Angular CLI that this proxy configuration to be used while when we are executing the ngserve command. To do that, you have to go to the configuration of Angular CLI. That's this file .angular-.cli.json file. In this JSON file, it describes some of the features of Angular CLI. So what you have to do is you have to go under the default section, and you have to enter a new not called serve, and another field called proxy config, and the name of the file that we just created. Remember to create this file at the root of your project directory. That means it should be with the same directory where the Angular CLI, the package JSON, and the proxy config JSON, all those three files should be in the same location. Remember, this only works with Angular CLI 1.3 and upwards. Okay, so if you are coming from an early version of Angular CLI, it might not work, so it's better to upgrade. So if you just come here, and I just erased that earlier what was there. So if you control space, or you get the help into the sense of your IDE, you will see some helpings. So under here you will see service, so you don't have to type and all the stuff, it will automatically give it to you. So I am using control space in my Linux machine. That might be changing depending on your, if you're in a Mac, perhaps it will be command space. But the IntelliSense will help you to get reduce and stop making any typos or anything like that. So the thing I used is proxy config, and again I'm gonna say proxy.conf.json. Okay, so we have created the proxy configuration and we have informed that Angular CLI. Now if we go now if we open a terminal, the nice feature about Visual Studio Code is that you can take a built-in terminal. In Linux it would be command and tilde sound, tilde mark, that's the key that's left to your number 1 on your keyboard, so that's the tilde. If you press Ctrl and tilde, you will get a nice terminal, or you can if you want to get another terminal, just press F1. So it will show you some hints that you can say. In the top you say terminal, so you will see open new terminal or create integrated terminal. If you say like the integrated terminal, it will pop up on the bottom or wherever you have placed it, if you have placed it before. So if I let me see whether I have running. Okay, I have a running instance that I will kill it. Delete it. Several instances. Now if I say ngserve, it will work as as it was working before. So what we have done is we need there is some backend changes as well corresponding to this. So earlier it was we were going to localhost API port 8080 without anything. You will see that Spring REST data will populate the endpoints for you, but at this point we don't need that. We won't have a base path, or we want to append something like API into, at the beginning of the URL. So we won't interfere with our other REST endpoints. We will be using the /API prefix to this. So what we can do is go to your Spring Boot application, under application YML, you go to Spring, then define a new field called data rest base path, and we will give whatever the base path that we like. That means it's going to be pre-appending these things to your application. Just for this reason, I will just remove and save. And if I go to localhost 8080, that works because I haven't defined any base path. Now if I add the base path here, okay, I will press enter. You can get the same typing support base path, and it will Spring STS will give you the suggestions for here. So Spring data rest base path, if you press enter here, and it will ask for a base path. I will just say /API, and if you go to your browser, now you can see that the URL is it's still pointing to the root of the port 8080, but if you go now, you will get a white label page error because we don't have any page corresponding to that. Now it's under API because we have changed the REST database path to 8080 API. Now it's running under this location. I hope the browser is also working. The front end Angular application is also working. So now if I go to localhost 4200, you will see the exact application that you have seen earlier. Now a little bit different. The different is if you put /API, it will be automatically proxying to whatever you have seen in port 80 over there. So if you press enter here, now you can see it's the same content, but you can see that it will change the port around here, so it won't affect anything else. So if you go again /API, now the backend is proxied with the front end using the configuration that we have provided. Simply we just had to edit few files. Now in the next tutorial we will be dealing with the how to set up this thing in the and consume data. Okay, thank you for watching. See you next time.